Hey y'all, welcome back to Mrs. Lynn's Cooking. Today we're going to do arancini or fried rice balls. All you're going to need is, I'm using jasmine rice that I've already rinsed off, and I've got about a 3/4 cup of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 to 2 teaspoons of the Knorr's chicken base and 1 to 1.5 of the Knorr's chicken with the tomato added to it. Okay, and then we're going to get that started to boiling. And once we do that, then we'll come back in. So, but first you're going to need grated Parmesan cheese or shredded, whichever you have, plain panko. I have garlic olive oil that I made, Italian seasonings, garlic clove would be better, but I don't have one, so we're doing the garlic paste. I got about a quarter of a medium onion, chopped up fine. Then you're going to need some low moisture mozzarella cheese. You're going to need basil, and you're going to need 1 egg. So let me get the rice to boiling, and I'll be right back. Okay, at this point, I've already got my jasmine rice. I've already rinsed it, and I rinsed it twice. Instead of it being 3 times, you want it a little sticky. So at this point, I'm going to take my Knorr's chicken base or chicken broth, whichever you like, use that. So I'm going to sprinkle this in here like so, because you want a little bit of a heavy chicken base to it to give it flavor. Yeah, and that was right at 2 tablespoons. Okay, now I'm going to go in to my Knorr's chicken tomato, and you're going to need this for the color to put in it. Okay, and this we're going to do 1 tablespoon. If I can get it out, I'll be doing better. Here we go. 1 of the chicken tomato. Okay, we're going to put that in there. I'm going to move this over to the side. We're going to stir this. Okay, and this will tell you about what color you want for your chicken, or excuse me, your rice balls. You don't want a deep red, you want kind of like a medium red to it. If you don't have the chicken and tomato, just get you some tomato paste. It'll do the same. Okay, so at this point, I've got my stove set on medium high, and I'm going to let this start boiling, and then we're going to go back over here, and I'm going to show you what we need to do next. And yes, I did forget, I have my tomato paste, and what I'm going to do, this is a really super concentrate, so I'm going to do I'm going to say a teaspoon of it, and then we're going to mix this in like so, and let this go to boil, and get it boiled and cooked down. While this is cooking down, we're going to do the rest of our ingredients. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I have my pecorino romano, if I could pronounce that correctly, panko. You can use bread or flour if you don't have panko, but this gives it a little bit more of a crunchy taste to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this here into a bowl like so. Okay, once we do that, I'm going to take my Italian seasonings, okay, and I'm going to put right about, that's 1 tablespoon. I'm going to do 2, just flat tablespoons of your Italian seasonings. Okay, and then at this point, I'm going to take the Romano grated Parmesan, that I have here, and we're going to mix it in with the panko. Okay, which is pretty simple. And then on this, we have 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 of them. And just set this over to the side because you're going to need it after we get through doing the rice balls. And yes, and just eye it to whatever you may need. Okay, so once we get this done, we're just going to mix it all together like so. This is going to be set to the side. And what I'm going to do is, once my rice gets through cooking, then I'm going to take and I'm going to go ahead and with some butter, or I'm going to use the garlic olive oil that I made with your onion and garlic. Whoops, excuse me. Garlic. All you're going to do is put them together and you're going to saute them for a couple of minutes. But we're ahead of our step, so let's just wait for this rice to boil. Okay, my rice is just about done. I have turned my stovetop off. At this point, what I need you to do is take a lid, put it over the top of it, and take it off the heat. This has got to cool for a few minutes. While that is cooling, we're going to get ready to start doing our onions and our garlic. So let me get this going here, getting it warmed up just a little bit, because what we're going to do is let that steep for a couple of minutes. So just stand by. Let me get this garlic olive oil up to heat, and I'll be right back. Okay, the onion that we chopped up earlier into small pieces, I'm going to put it in my pan right here. Okay, you can use butter. You can use, it's better to use an olive oil, the best olive oil that you could possibly get. So that's what you're going to try to do with that. We're going to turn this down just a hair. And then I'm going to add in my minced garlic. I know it may look like a lot, but it's not really once you get it into that rice. So get that doing. So I'm going to say that's right about 2 tablespoons of the garlic paste. You can add more or less. It's up to you. Let me grab a spoon here so I can get this just stirring around. There we go. Okay, and what we're going to do with this part is just going to saute these down until they are fragrant and a little bit translucent. And now I'm using a Vidalia onion. Whichever onion you have will work. Do not use red. That's a little bit too sweet. But the Vidalians seem to work pretty good for me. So that's what I'm sticking with here. And I've tried this product when I was in Italy last year, and I just fell in love with it. So what I'm going to do is just going to let this kind of translute down just a little bit, and we will be right back. Okay, I've turned off my stovetop again, and this is what I want it to look like. Just translucent until it comes really fragrant, and you will be able to smell it. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take this rice that I made here. I'm going to take the lid off of it, and I'm going to put the, I'm going to put the garlic and onions into the rice at this point, just like so. Okay, and then I'm going to set this over to the side, and what I'm going to do is, because it's still steeping, it's still hot. So at this point, got this all stirred in, and I'm going to let this steep here in with the onions and with the garlic. And now at this point, I'm going to add fresh basil. If you don't have fresh basil, that's fine. Use the paste. So I'm going to do this. Whoops, that's going to be 1 teaspoon. May do 2, because it just gives a little flavor. And as you can see, just pop it right in like so. And then what we're going to do again is we're going to stir this again, just like so. And we're going to get it all incorporated, and it's going to be sticky, and that's what you want. That way it helps everything bind together. Now, while I was cooking this, I'm going to put this back on here, let it steep for about another 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're going to take it off, and I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, now I'm taking just a pan that I have, and I lined it with aluminum foil. You can use aluminum foil, parchment paper, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use this. Now, we're going to take that rice that we cooked, and we're going to put it here onto our sheet pan. Okay, this is not all the rice. My son wanted a little bit of it set to the side because he just wanted to eat it the way it was. So I told him, okay, that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it because we have plenty here. Okay, so we're just going to spread this here, just like so. Okay, and then what this is doing is this is going to cool it down enough to handle it. It's still going to be warm, but we've got to cool it down a little bit so we can handle it with our bare hands in order to make the rice balls. So while this is cooling, okay, I want you to, if you can, go ahead and get you a block of the mozzarella low moisture cheese. You're going to cut it to about that size. So as many as you want or as little. That's this. You need the mozzarella to go in the middle. So while this cools, go ahead and get that cut up and get it prepared. Okay, so we're just going to wait maybe 10 minutes or so on this for it to cool a little bit, and then we'll be right back. Okay, this has cooled off enough to the point to where I can handle it. The reason I have gloves on is because it is kind of sticky. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an amount of my rice that I made up, and you can see it's sticky, and that's what you want. Okay, and I'm going to put that about that much in my hand. Now I'm going to take my piece of mozzarella cheese, and we're just going to take it and we're going to form it into a ball, just like so. Okay, now what we're going to do is use that egg that we had earlier. We've already kind of beat it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we are going to coat it in the egg. Then we're going to take it from the egg mixture. Oops, excuse me. This is a little messy, but it's well worth it, trust me. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the same thing here, and I'm going to coat this in the panko, just like so, to where you get enough panko. If you don't have panko, like I said, you could do the same exact thing with flour, but the panko gives it a little bit more of a crispier crust. Then we're going to take it, we're going to set it right there to the side, and we're going to keep repeating this process until we use up all of our rice. Okay, now I've got my rice balls made up here. I'll show them to you a little bit closer here. I've got more than this, but this should be enough for right now. At this point, I want you to get oil. It can be olive oil. I would preferably say canola or sunflower or peanut oil to fry these in. Do it in a shallow pan. The reason being you don't use as much oil. So once my oil comes up to temperature, then I'm going to start placing these in here. So give me a couple of minutes. This is still warming up. Now my heat is up to temperature, what I need it at, to make sure it's just hot enough to fry. Now I'm going to take my rice balls and put them in one at a time. Once I get them all in there, I'm going to turn this down to like a medium heat. But make sure you leave enough room in between them so that you can flip them. Because, like I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them right now that we're going to fry up. So while those are frying, make sure you get yourself a plate with some paper towels to put them on when they come off. And they're smelling really, really good. So once you get your oil up to temperature, we're just wanting to make sure that we're just going to, everything in here is pretty much cooked. All you're doing is melting your cheese on the inside and crisping it up. And see, it's already starting right here. You can tell to a golden brown. And that's what you're wanting to do. Just take them gently and turn them over to get them fried on all sides. I want them more this color, so this and this color looks really good. I'm going to let those sit for a second or two. So we're going to get these fried up. Once we get these fried up, we'll be right back. Okay, we have our rice balls, arancini, fried up. Now at this point, so they're still warm, I'm going to take my Parmesan cheese and we're going to sprinkle it over the top, just like so. Now we're going to take, I have marinara sauce that we made up. So I'm just going to take a spoonful of it, put it on my plate, just like so. Then I'm going to take one of these arancinis, and please remember, they're extremely hot. So I'm going to scoot this over here out of the way, and I'm going to let you see what it looks like once we cut into it. So, and they're going to be a little spongy, and this recipe was made back, I'm going to say 900 BC, somewhere in AD. I'm sorry, not BC, AD. So this is what they're going to look like on the inside. Kind of see if you can see that. And then what you do is you just take You can use your fingers. If you have game day coming up, works really well for that. They will love it. And we're going to give it a try. Please excuse me. Those are really hot, but they're really good. So if you like my video, please like and subscribe.